Hello students, so we draw the graph of a over x and a over x squared yesterday by using new graphing calculator. Let's draw the graph of y equals 1 over x and y equals 1 over x squared together. X-axis and y-axis, x-axis and y-axis. Then y equals 1 over x was drawn this way. Y equals 1 over x squared was drawn in this way. And then you can find two lines which this graph goes closer to this axis but never touch. This graph closer to this axis but never touch. And then you can see there is one vertical line, one horizontal line. Which this graph goes closer to those lines but never touch. We call them as asymptote. That means that it has two asymptotes, which is x-axis and y-axis. But normally they ask you to find the equation of asymptotes. So equation of x-axis is y equals 0, which is horizontal asymptotes. Equation of y-axis, which is x equals 0, a vertical asymptote. And y equals 1 over x squared as well. As you can see from the both sides, this graph is going closer to the y-axis but never touches. This one as well, closer to the x-axis but it never touches. So y equals 1 over x squared. It has also two asymptotes, which is horizontal one. You know the horizontal line always starts from y equals something, right? Y equals 0, the horizontal asymptote. And the vertical asymptote. And then please draw the graph of y equals negative 1 over x. Then you can find the graph looks like this way, okay? So therefore, the graph shape of y equals a over x. Firstly, if a is positive and then this graph passes through the first quadrant and then the third quadrant, right? The blue lines. Then it goes first and third quadrant, this shape. If a is negative, the graph looks like this way. Second and the fourth quadrant. And also both of them has two asymptotes, which is equation y equals 0 and x equals 0. Now y equals 1 over x. Let's combining this graph to the graph transformation. Okay, we are going to translate this graph by vector m, n. And then you remember that you need to substitute x minus m to x, y to y, y minus n. Then the graph, the function should be written as y minus n equals 1 over x minus m, which is y equals 1 over x minus m plus n. Please remember, their asymptote equation was x equals m, 0, and y equals 0. Since it's translated by the vector mn, it is very natural to think that the asymptote has been translated as well by following the same vector. So you need to translate m, so x minus m equals 0, then y minus n equals 0, which is x equals m and y equals n. The asymptote is translated the same way as well. So therefore, if there is a function which is written y equals 1 over x minus m plus n, then it means that y minus n equals 1 over x minus m. The asymptote is x equals m and y equals n. The easiest way to find the equation of asymptote is, firstly, please make an equation x minus m equals 0, then x equals m. Then just ignore this part, then what it left is y equals n. You can remember in this way. There is a function which is written as y equals negative 1 over x plus 2 minus 3. Firstly, let's find the translation vector. So the original form should be y equals negative 1 over x. Then this graph can be written as y plus 3 equals, move this one to the left side, and then minus 1 over x plus 2. So it looks like instead of x, it is written x plus 2. Instead of y, it is written as y plus 3. Then the translation vector is 2 and 3, but you need to change the sign, minus 2, minus 3. This is the translated vector. The second one, let's find the asymptote. Y equals minus 1 over x plus 2 minus 3. There are two ways to find the equations of asymptote. Firstly, find the vector. Then by using the vector, x equals 0 and y equals 0 can be translated as x minus 2, which is x equals minus 2, and then y equals minus 2. So find the translation factor first, and then find the equations of asymptote. But it needs one more step. So if you can remember, just remember, find the value of x, which make the denominator 0, which is x plus 2 equals 0, which is x equals minus 2. This is the vertical asymptote. And then ignore this part, and what it left is y equals minus 3. This is the horizontal asymptote. Sorry, this should be minus 3. Let's practice one more time. Y equals 2 over x minus 2. And then they ask you to find the equations of asymptote. Then find the value of x, which make the denominator 0, which is x equals 2. And then after this, ignore this part, then y equals, there's nothing. It means that y equals 0. Y equals minus 3 over x minus 2. Then equations of asymptote is x equals, find the value of x, which make the denominator 0, is just 0, right? Then ignore this part, then y equals minus 2 is equations of asymptotes. Let's solve exercise 5D. Write down the transformation that changes the graph of y equals a over x into the graph of y equals a over x minus d. So y equals a over x into the graph of y equals a over x minus d. Then as you can see, instead of x, they wrote x minus d. Instead of y, it's just y, right? So from here, y minus actually is 0, right? So you can find the translation vector d and 0. Minus d, then 0, 0, and 0. Minus d, and then d, 0, and 0. Sorry, do you understand? And then write down the equation of the asymptotes of the graph y equals, so equations of asymptote. I told you to find the value of x which make the denominator 0, which is x equals d. After that, ignore this part and there is nothing. It means that y equals 0. They are the equations of asymptotes of this graph. Show that the curve y equals a over x squared is horizontal stretch of the curve y equals 1 over x squared. Okay, the other way around. So y equals a over x squared because this graph is horizontally stretched to y equals a over x squared, right? You need to show that this graph can be made by stretching y equals 1 over x squared horizontally and then find the scale factor. So you need to do the two things. And find the scale factor. Let's do the first one. So define y equals 1 over x squared as fx. If it is horizontally stretched, what? And to make y equals x squared, and then it can be written as horizontally stretched with the scale factor k. Then bring back the memory. Since horizontally stretched, so that x direction, you need to change x as x over k, and there is no vertical to stretch, so that y is just y. Then you can find k, which can be expressed as x over k. Then a over x squared equals, let's find the equation of fx over k, 1 over x over k square. It means that 1 divided by x squared over k squared, which is 1 times its reciprocal k squared over x squared, is k squared over x squared. By comparing these two equations, you can find k squared equals as a, therefore k equals square root a. So, therefore, this graph can be found by the horizontal stretch of 1 over x squared with the scale factor k, which is square root a. This is the answer.